Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. I'm going to try to leave Thor, my black cat, there. I hope that doesn't wreck the focus. I hate to bother him. He sleeps there. Okay, fifth year, 93rd day, first video, and I'm still going on with Resurrection, the movie. This is my 25th shot at describing, making this movie happen, and I want to talk about the soundtrack, the score. But first, news. I may have an artist. I may have a visual artist. There is a man. He was my student years ago. And he is a wonderful artist. And he has some interest. That is very exciting. It's huge. All right, now on to the music. I have some ideas. You know, I said I am no artist. I can't draw. This is what I'm saying. I cannot draw. I can make music, but I'm not a composer, and that's a problem too. But it's not quite. Would be insurmountable for me. I cannot do that. This, I guess, I could do. Well, anyway, I had mentioned that each one of the characters should have a leitmotif in Wagnerian style, almost. And I was in detail about that. They share the leitmotifs with earth, wind, fire, and water. There are a total of 8 characters, 9. These two would come as a package. That would make it 9 major characters. There would be some other characters. Anyway, where to begin with these leitmotifs? Should they be original? I mean, if I were a composer, I guess I could come up with an original tune, but I'm not a composer. And I'm hoping that the whole thing would be simple in a way, in that it would be accessible. Like folk songs are simple, and a harmony is often very simple in folk songs. But then, you know, if it would go on for an hour and a half, you know, that, I don't know. Well, anyway, where to begin? In a way, that might be reinventing the wheel if I tried to come up with tunes. And the thing to do, the problem is to come up with tunes that can be then put together, joined. And I had talked about composing the whole score from the dance outward. I mean, in other words, have everything all going together and then start to pull the parts out. As, let's say, if Bryn is there with Festus, if the two of them are together, well, their two leitmotifs would interplay. Well, anyway, I thought folk songs. All right, I'll go to folk songs. And, you know, I remembered, hey, I think my mother bought me this once. Folk Songs of Britain and Ireland. Look how thick that thing is. Full of all these tunes. You know, I thought, well, there's a lot of writing. There's also an awful lot of tunes. And I looked at that and I thought, aha, I can find some tunes. And then I'll have to find a way to get the harmonies to line up for when I play them together. And I also thought, aha, how about this one? Thomas Hockling gave me this in Germany. This is Volksliederbuch, folk song book. And this is a collection of German folk songs, melodies. And I thought, okay, I could come up with melodies, even if I can't compose them. I could look and find some that work. But then I remembered Bach chorales. And I have this book back from when I was in college. I had started off thinking I might be a music major. And we analyzed, he wrote all these chorales, 371 chorales he harmonized. And I thought, well, you know, and the thing is, what he did often, and Martin Luther as well, they took folk songs, melodies that the people knew, and then gave them religious words and then harmonized them. And Bach, although maybe people might not say he's the greatest composer ever, but he's probably the greatest harmonizer ever. And he harmonized these. And he put them into 4-part harmony. And I got thinking, you know, the way he did that, he didn't just do like in the left hand often, or in the left hand you have chords, and in the right hand you have a melody. A little bit like somebody strumming a guitar, giving chords and then singing. They've got a melody supported by harmony. But that's not what Bach did. He had the voices all move. Oh, I should have researched this a little bit and said something about voice leading. Uh, these are things I'm remembering things that I studied back in college. Voice leading. There are rules to how you go about doing voice leading. Well, anyway, and as an example of that, I got looking through these, and without even having any musical knowledge, you could just look at, for example, here, was willst du dich, o meine Seele? That's what do you want, my soul? There is a oh, come on, Thor. There is a Bach chorale, and that's his harmonization of it. And you can just see by these notes that soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, they're all moving all over the place. It's not just strict chords. I hope you can see that. Well, I thought, okay, if I pull each one of them out, it might work, and I haven't tried yet. It might work that I would have 4 melodies that are already lined up to move along harmonically. I think that would work. Now, I'm not so sure how the melodies would stand by themselves, and probably if it came to an end, what's called a cadence, I'd have to have the melody end on do. I don't know. I'd have to see. But before I thought, well, counterpoint, when you have two going, but I think that was wrong. I was wrong to think about counterpoint, because counterpoint usually is when you've got one melody that starts at different times, and it's a different situation completely. I was confused on this, but I think I've got it here. Now, 4-part harmony, why it's 4-part is because Western harmony is based on what's called a triad. I've got a keyboard here. I could pick it up and play it for you. I could show you that. A triad, when you analyze the harmony of something, you look for the triad. Do, mi, so would be a major triad. Do, mi, so would be minor. And so you need 3 notes to get the full triad. So why 4? I remember a woman asked me that once, and I got thinking about it, and I wasn't sure if I'd been told or not, but by going to 4-part harmony, one of the notes can play around. You can now move. You don't have to just always peg those 3 notes. If you always have those 3 notes, you tend to move in what's called parallel fifths, they're called, and that's a complete no-no in Western music. Parallel fifths does not have a pleasant sound to the Western ear, but by having 4-part harmony, you can then move things around. Well, that's 4. The thing is, I've got 5. Well, I've got 9 characters, but I'll show you how I think I've got the solution to that. 4-part harmony, well, there are also, you see, jazz chords. And in jazz chords, you've got the triad plus another note. You add another note. Now you can add the 7th. I'm speaking in musical terms, but that's done all the time. You add the 7th. But you can add the 11th, the 13th, the 9th. Then you've got 4 notes, and it sounds quite differently. And that's kind of what gives jazz music its sound. So they are available. But anyway, let's go back to these. Let's say I use that Bach chorale. Bryn, she could have the alto. Marion, Thor. Marion plays a drum. He doesn't have to have a melody. He has this drum. Bryn, his daughter, could have the alto line. Festus, this is the order that the characters appear. Festus, even though his instrument, his timbre, is a bassoon, he should have the soprano line, and I'll tell you why. It's because right at the very end, right at the end of the movie, when his family shows up, and the timbre is a woman's voice, not singing words, but humming or la la or something. There, that would be Festus's theme, but now taken over by a woman's voice. I still think that that could be extremely moving. Come on, Kat. Uh, uh, Bacchus could be the bass, and then Anna has a guitar, but it could be rhythm guitar. You know, that was like a breakthrough. She doesn't have to have her own. Uh, she doesn't have to have her own leitmotif. Just like a lot of people, they just get pleasure out of just strumming chords. And at this point, it would be an opportunity maybe to bring in the jazz chords, maybe or maybe not. Rhythm guitar. Paul and Robin, they come as a couple. They have one leitmotif. They're together, and they could have the tenor line. So now I've got soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And then the bikers, the mountain bikers, when they come with their wild outfits and stuff like that, and they come as a pair as well. Tom and his supporter, Astrid. There's the lead guitar, which doesn't really have a predictable leitmotif at all. A lead guitar, and I mean, I'll be out. I don't think he'd care. I'm basing this character on Thomas Hockling, whom you've seen elsewhere many times in this course, my German friend, and he is a fabulous lead guitarist. So I've got it. I've got all the characters covered, I think, and I think that I could actually set about doing this a little bit, picking the right Bach chorale. I need an E here. Picking the right Bach chorale, experimenting, seeing what happens if you take the alto line and put it on top, tenor line, put it on top, you know, by itself. If it's supported, so, you know, if we have Festus together with Bacchus, there we've got the soprano and the bass lines. I think it could work. All right, well, we'll see where this goes. Bye for now.